Coming soon on social medias, it's S Class.
So what's the level? Like a bottle of chibuku? Like a bucket?
To my nature, I criticize on social media. Yeah, I think I'm good at that when it comes to social media. That's why I really like spending most of my time in social media.
Buli lwenywa kunjaga eyo naye sirina ssente ntulaali n'endowooza.
Good evening, our lovely viewers. Welcome to S Class, by S Class social media show, which runs every single Friday in the week. And this time round, we are going to discuss more of the challenge that face people with special needs. And don't forget to always catch us live on S Class YouTube and also on Facebook. Remember, our YouTube channel is S Class 256, and also on Facebook S Class 256. And we're also on Instagram, Twitter, and all the other social media platform. And our hashtag is S Class 256. S Class is a platform where we bring young people and also other stakeholders to discuss different issues that affect adolescents. And remember, S comes from sexual reproductive health and rights, and then you add the word class. And today on S Class, we have one person whom we have been seeing on all over social media, TV stations, radio stations, and he's called Isa. Me, I know him as Isa, but most of you know him as Jan Lion, the artist. So welcome to the show, Isa.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad and happy to be with you here today. So we expect that our viewers and listeners will also be glad and enjoy the happiness together with us as well.
Thank you so much, Isa. And before we even go further, I would like Isa to tell us more about himself. Me, I know him in the other angle of a professional person who is into psychiatry, but he can easily tell us more of who Isa is or who is Jan Lion.
Well, sorry, I need to make that apology to our viewers that when you hear me making that hiccup or coughing a little bit, please laugh a little bit slowly, because tomorrow it will be you. Yes, but I'm only saying that I have a little bit of cough, and yeah, that's why my voice may not be very, very strong. My name is Kajiri Isa, and I'm a mental health psychologist. That means I am a counselor to some people. I am a psychotherapist. I provide counseling. I provide therapy, that mental health therapy to anybody. And on the other side, I have an AK. That is Jan Lion, and Jan is Jan. That's simply meaning Jan, judge, and note. So it's very paramount, it's very important that when you listen to me, when you view me, when you see me, make sure that what you're noting down gets very, very instrumental in your life. So you just don't listen to me, but just judge and still note down something. And then the other name is Lion, literally inform the artist now. Not the lion of Lion, but the lion of Lian, meaning literally inform the artist now. So I'm a musician and I'm a blind gentleman, a very happy blind gentleman, and yeah, I'm a very, very loving gentleman.
Okay, thank you so much, Isa, for that brief introduction about yourself. And today we are discussing more of people with special needs. Do you call yourself a person with special need, or and why should we call you somebody with special needs?
I don't want to call myself a person with special need, but I want to call myself a person of special need, because yes, indeed, there are areas, there are issues, there are certain times when I need to be handled, especially when I need to be catered for or taken care of in a special way, whether I want it or not. So that's why I call myself a person of special need, but not a person with special need, because probably it's not me that makes that or that moves with the special need, but I move along with the need for it. But of course, the other reasoning could be that the fact that I fall in the category, I am blind as well. And if so, special need means those people that have any sort of disabilities with them, and I am one of them. So you or I cannot just make a statement of running away from it. Yes.
And Isa, thank you so much for telling us about your special need attention. Is the person who can't see? I know, like most of you, unless when he says it, you can't notice that he's somebody who can't see. And Isa, if I may take you, just use few words to tell us briefly, where when you are young, do you used to see or you were not seeing?
Now, when I was young, I used to see, but at the same time, when I was young, I used not to see, because the youngness would then depend. But when I was young, I used to see at a certain age and with a balanced level of sight. That's to say, by one eye, and then at a certain time, I even lost that one eye. And when I was still young, so I faced both times and challenges, when I could see, but also when I couldn't see. Yes.
How old were you when you lost your eye?
Of course, well, my age of the time of when I lost my sight is a little unclear, but if you want to say it's between 6 and 7.
Between 6 and 7. That's a very active age whereby people need, young person need to play around Topena, Toko Toko, and also some other hide and seek games. And when you realize that you got that issue, how did you feel by that at that moment or at that time, that tender age of yours which you are?
Of course, the feeling that I got at that tender age can hardly be explained at the mature level, but maybe what I want to say is that it was an anonymous challenge, a challenge that I didn't know that it was a challenge by the time, but that I faced, because yes, I had to face it in different angles. Take an example, time for playing. Of course, yes, I could play like another normal child, because I was a child. I just didn't think about my blindness. I mean, I didn't even know that there's something unique in it. So because I found myself okay, but remember, the others could see. So at all times, definitely that meant that it wouldn't make it so hard for you to connect exactly with the other people. At a certain time, they had to leave you behind, because I mean, you couldn't compete out with them. Take an example, time for football. Yes, I loved playing football, but then I couldn't do it rightly like they needed it. Yes, so they had to leave me behind by all means, though I also had to follow them by all means. Yes.
So when you were young and your friends, the birthdays you used to play with, and when you got blind, did they still continue playing with you, or they noticed that they were leaving you behind because you are blind, you were somebody who could be too heavy for them to control?
I want to say that in their state of not judging my state of being blind, they definitely had to balance their life, because as a child, of course, my colleagues by the time did not boycott me or could not desert me or leave me behind just because I'm blind, but they left me behind because I couldn't compete exactly the way they wanted it, how they felt it should be. So, but not because I am blind, because as a mature person, you would want to attach different failures, different disadvantages on the situation, but as a child, they may not be, but they only want to attach a disadvantage on what's current. If a child wants to go and fetch water at the well, and they say, Isa, come, let's go, and they see Isa again asking, Oliwa, where are you? If they see Isa again going into the bush, yet for them they are passing the right path, that could force them to leave you and say, let's hurry, for him you'll come alone. You get what I'm saying? So, and at the end of the day, you find yourself being left out, and just because for them they think you're not running that speed they are, but not because you are blind. Yeah.
Now, let us focus on let us jump and go to a time when you decided for you to go to class, go to school. How did you achieve? Because if you are saying that you think your eyes got damaged when you were around 6 years, and now you're somebody who has grown, you're somebody who is educated. Like, tell us the time when you were young and you're told to go into class. How was it? Was it easy or was it easy for you?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was hard, and definitely, just like any other person out there, starting something is a hard thing. And even in a business, people have failed to start up because starting is hard. People always want to move when they are already moving, but not wanting to start. So if saw that someone who can see starting is cumbersome, then what about a blind person? So in actual sense, it was so hard for me, and the reasons probably could differ, and the reasons are that I started school in a very distant place, so distance was a challenge as well. So because I had to leave, Uganda and go to Teso, and that really meant a very, very big moment of mental preparation for a child to prepare themselves leaving their parents, and go and join other people. Secondly, language. Language was another challenge, because language barrier had to come in, whereby Isa goes to Soroti, and Isa is a Muganda, he speaks Uganda, and he knows no English at all, and he joins P1, where the P1 members are only of their own tribes. They're also just learning English, so you can imagine that mingle. So you find a Muganda talking Luganda to an Iteso, and an Iteso talking the Ateso language to Muganda, so which makes things a little historical but very challenging. Yes, so maybe another challenge could be the environmental familiarity. It was so hard for me to familiarize with the environment as time went on. So for example, the compound of the school, studying it and having the map in your brain that you can move alone, making your own personal movements without guides. So that was so hard. So, but also, trying to make yourself trying to make yourself accustomed to different environments. So for example, I am from Buganda, and now I'm making myself used to a very different environment of Teso, in terms of the weather changes and so forth, because Teso is so hot, heat get so high as opposed to Buganda. So that was another challenge to familiarize with. Yeah.
So you talked about memorizing the map of a school into your mind or into your head. How do you people memorize this? Because even to a person who says sometimes they forget some places. But one of the person that I met with told me that you people, you memorize something and you can't even forget it.
To first of all confirm that, yes, it is true that you can memorize something and not easily forget it, but not forgetting it, but not easily forgetting it, because yes, forgetting is entitled to humanity. Yeah, but at least the speed at which you forget matters. So, but of course, for purposes of environmental memory, what we call circumambulation, if a blind person has to circumambulate or study the compound and then own it in his brain, it's therefore part of his GPS, because you need to have that global studying process in your brain. You need to be able to have the map. You need to, because at the end of the day, your brain is going to help you in so many things. Because someone who can see at a certain time, you tend to depend on your eyes. You're like, well, I will see it. Well, I will sit there. But then it becomes a problem for Isa to say, I will sit there. I must be able to say, I will try and figure out that. And it's in my brain that I'm trying to release out information, and my feet tend to help me, support me, but also my ears tend to accord certain environmental sounds. Because when the blind man is moving, their support is much more on about 3 areas. One, the brain that reads where you're going, but your legs will work so much in trying to detect and tell you that no, there's a loophole here, there's a hole here, you won't be able to make a movement here. And then the ears will help you to study the surrounding environment. That's why if a blind man is moving and then you make certain noise, you may want to confuse him. If this mowing machine is making noise, the blind man will not move, because why? These ears are working in line with the brain and the legs to communicate in order to support him. So that's how the response comes from the memorized compound. Yeah.
Then if I may take you back, how easy was it for you to be in the class and teachers were teaching things, physics, science? Let us go back in primary. It is English, mathematics, science, and SST. How easy was it for you to get all that they were teaching?
as an individual, it was easy because I appreciate God that yes, I have the brains. But of course, as a reality, it was hard because one, in the academic line, you realize that you have to compete with those who can see as well. But yet the teaching style matters. The teaching style of a blind person is a little different from the teaching style of a sighted person. The sighted person, the teacher can just get it in front of the class and then go on the BB and then write out stuff and then everybody can watch there. But when it comes to a blind person, the teacher expects you to get down to a person. You need to get down to an individual. If it is in psychiatry, we'll look at it as an individual therapy. So even in school, the teacher must get down to a student one by one, make explanations to an individual. So that's why in our schools, it's okay if there are few students, because a student is calculated for 10 sighted students. One blind person is equal to 10 of the sighted people. Yeah, so if a class has 6 blind people, that's worth 60 of the sighted people. And so when getting back to the material, so you realize that even the writing materials that we use, or the writing style, needs learning very hard as well. Just like yes, of course, even you using print, you need to learn how to write in your pens and books. But also here we use machines. And now take an example, you need to learn a machine which is very new in your life. And you take, for example, P1 and so forth. So you now being introduced to a certain machine that you need to learn how to use it. And that machine calls for your brains to be sharp, because you need to master, you need to cram, you need to own the dots, you need to own the writing figures in your brain in order to know that when I'm creating letter A, I must use 1 dot. When I'm creating letter B, I must use 2 dots, but facing this way. So that means there's need for great brains to master that. Failure to do that, horrible. You can't learn writing at well. Neither can you learn reading, because how could you read with fingers yet you fail to write with fingers? Yeah, so that style was very, very challenging. Yeah.
And in primary, what was the best subject?
Well, when I was in primary, my best subject, I want to remember, it was English, of course, yes, and SST was also one of my good subjects as well. Yes.
Then let us go up to secondary.
Yeah.
O-level.
Yeah.
Which school did you go to?
Well, the school I went for A level was different from the O, because the one I went for O level was the same school that I had in primary. Because in primary I was in a school called St. Francis Primary School, but that was the same school that had a secondary level, which was St. Francis Secondary School. So that's where I had my senior 1 and senior 4. Then for A level, that was Igageses. Yeah.
So where is St. Francis?
St. Francis Primary School and Secondary School, because it's not a full school, which is primary and secondary both. It is in Soroti, in a place called Madera Village. Yeah, of course that's where the flying school is. Yes, for Uganda.
If we were to look at all these schools, of which educate people like you, how many are there in Uganda?
To state the number could not be appropriate for me now, because of reasons that others known, others not known, and they are creeping lines. But for purposes of particularity, you realize that the only one school in East Africa that caters or that teaches blind people in particular, it's only one school, and that's St. Francis School for the Blind. That's from P1 to senior C. It's strictly blind people. But many are there that what we call annexes. It's a school for sighted people, but then a unit for people with visual impairment are also in that school. So we call those ones annexes. But yes, we have a few that are coming up that are still on primary level, but maybe only for blind people, that, like for example Salama, and that's a few still creeping behind. But the many are annexes. Yes.
So now let's go up to your O level. You said you went to still St. Francis Secondary, and when you look at St. Francis Secondary School, what were your best subject there?
Well, when I was St. Francis.
But before, how many did you get in primary?
Well, I'm always very keen when responding to grades or aggregates, because I don't want to influence my colleague out there visually impaired to think that well, if Isa made that, then I can also make it, and if he fails, then he wants to find themselves in doom. No. So what you only have to know is that Isa did well and was able to transport himself to secondary. That means if you blind out there, you can also make it. Don't mind about how many I got, but just mind how many you get and make sure you're in secondary as well. Yes.
Okay, now we are going into secondary. How easy was it for you to be with those people in secondary? Remember, this is a new environment.
Yeah.
You have left the other environment of primary and now you're into secondary. I think even the dressing code changes. You either wear long trouser, not a short one. Then how easy was it for you to catch up with those people in secondary? Remember, most of the subject changes. You're no longer taking 4 subjects. You're taking more than 5 subjects. And how easy was it for you?
Definitely, familiarity or familiarizing in adoption is always a challenge, and it's sometimes causes frustration to certain people. They get discouraged. That's when we look at it in terms of frustration. But of course, we always encourage people to just not give up. So even myself, adapting to a new curriculum, a new structure, a new number of subjects to put into the brain was another big challenge, because for me I had a challenge in school that I always used to worry much more of a new class in my very first term. And I'm like, oh my God, again we're now going another class, what am I gonna do? It's gonna be hard. So now if I used to worry in primary, then you want to know that when I was entering secondary as a different level, it was a very big worry that I had. So of course, yes, but with time we had to get accustomed. With time we had to get used by one of the subjects. But of course, there were those few that already we used. You're not going to take out mathematics. You're not going to take out English. So, but of course, the new that we introduced, like because we did health science, we did the political studies and so forth. So those new ones became a problem, really. But of course, yes, with time we became a good friend of them, because I had my way of operation. My way of operation was I used to revise. I used to do winter. I used to revise seriously.
Sure.
I wasn't very good sometime on BB, on blackboard direction, but I used to be very good at my personal revision. And if I have not received things very well in class, then I know that, well, I will receive this things very well in my own personal revision, and that will be very, very powerful. And also maybe not forgetting what we call group discussions. Yes, I used to be very, very, very good in terms of group discussions, and I used to be in group discussions. I liked what we call, being the ringleader. So I liked being the leader. If you're saying, is not gonna discuss, I'm like, well, let me lead the group. Yes, I just didn't like consuming, but I liked producing out.
Up now, do you like leading?
Well, of course, I like leading, especially where I think that I'm going to gain. Yes, because in class or in school time, I used to like leading, because I knew that at the end of the day, it's me gaining. People don't know that when you lead the group, you gain double. And one wants to ask how. It's the way that, take an example, if you're now in a discussion group, everyone is contributing, you're receiving in your ears, you're getting. But when you speak, when you teach, when you explain more, the more you explain, the more these others who don't want to explain, they come to you. And when they come to you, the more you repeat what you explain to them, and that means you are good at mastering that. You never forget that. Let me tell our viewers that, learn this from me. You will never call yourself a good teacher unless you can teach someone who can teach another. So what I'm simply saying, you never say that you've learned something unless you can teach someone. Yes.
Then when you're in O level, you said some of your biggest challenge was going into another class. You had that fear in you. And how did you overcome these fears of joining another class? And still on that point, I want you to tell me where did you get this driving force in you? That yes, I can grind, but I can make it. Because very many people who are blind now, they have no this driving force in them that I can make it, I can achieve it. But you had this driving force in you. Tell us, like in your O level, what used to drive you?
First of all, on part A of the question, that how did I, overcome the fears? Of course, the Isa in me, that instinct, that person in me, he used to tell me that, even if you're fearing this, but remember, you cannot push, you cannot go and, take on taxis, you can go and become a driver of a taxi, you can go and become a rider of a boda boda. So what you can only do is to study, and if what you can only do is study, then please go to class. Don't fear that. Secondly, I had good friends, because I was always a likable man, and because of the musical part of me, always brought me closer, like we will be able to see it, and that always gave me a friendship, bond with colleagues and teachers as well. So that means that wherever I had a challenge, I could always inquire. I'm one person who doesn't fear to inquire, and I'm always telling the boda guys who ride me that please don't fear to inquire. If you don't know some place, please always inquire to avoid making mistakes. So because the fuel that you would have used when you still lying yourself that would be easily saved by you asking somebody. So I used always to ask my colleagues, and I had very good friends that really could come around and share. So maybe that also encouraged me, but also looking at other colleagues of mine that they have not given up. Why me? Because if you're saying I'm fearing second, I'm fearing A level, then and yet your friend is striking it, and he's trying to show you that, well, we'll strike it, we will, let's go. Then what would you get behind? Then when it comes to the part of the second part of the question, which is my vigorous state, or how did I get that vigor? Of course, there's the power and the empowerment is from society, but also it's from your personal security. What I call the personal security is the self-esteem and the self-confidence, because you can never be secure if you don't have confidence in you. You can never be a person needed, a person called, a person invited if you've not done what it needs to be invited. So you can't be like Isa if you fail to take on what it takes to be like Isa. So that's another point as to why you're able to find me here and ask me questions, because you know that I'm worth that. So which means that in my school time, I had to build up my self-esteem, and my self-esteem has not been supported by none other than all people around me that I've met in life, because everybody is very, very instrumental in one's life. Yeah, your parents, once they bring up the money and take you to school, very instrumental. Your colleagues, once they come up and guide you and say, hey Isa, you're gonna fall in the hole, that's fine, because you would have fallen down and broken your leg. So everybody is very, very instrumental, and everybody helps him. So those fellow blind people that have failed to build up their confidence, probably the people I've mentioned, the society that I've mentioned, has not done enough, has just underlooked, they have not overlooked the purpose and the interest in building these people's self-esteem. Yes.
Then Isa, if now you have told us about your O level, now you change the school to when you join O level, A level, you change the school. Which school did you go to?
Igang SS.
Why Igang in all schools?
Because one, it's one of the schools that I knew very well that could teach people with visual impairment at A level or at secondary level. Secondly, it is a school that has a high standard, and my former school where I was, it had A level, but it had just commenced a few years. That means they were still on a process of building up their standard, and yet this has lived for 50 years down the road and producing. Thirdly, I had ever had and even seen in my way colleagues that have passed through Igang SS and very successful and very academically good. Yes, and lastly, my grandparents or my supporters were able and were willing to meet the transport fee, but also finally the school fees, which was a very powerful issue, because it is an expensive school, for your information. But if your sponsor is willing to do the support, then I'm like, oh, well, good. And lastly, my grades were taking me there. Of course, I had done good, and of course I could go there. So because yes, you could be having, oh, what's next? You have good friends and you have all the money, but then certain schools say, well, we can't take it because the grades don't allow you. Yeah.
You said you don't like answering your grade. But let us just go straight to Iganga now. You're in Iganga, you are in A level. things have changed. You've changed the environment. You're meeting new people there, and now you're joining a new class, which is one of your biggest fear. So, how was your first day in school?
For Igangises, it was a different story. Of course, yes, as an individual, I was worried of a new start. I've been listening from people saying literature, history, blah blah blah. Wow, horrible. This literature here is a very big volume. So I used to fear. But of course, the environmental purpose was a very, very calm one. Because I reached that school when I already had ambassadors. Because remember, Issa has always been a musician. So I was a musician in my former school. And for my former school, I had already friends who had already left there and come to Igangises. So that means they had already spread the gospel about me. So when I reached there, the girls were like, what? That's the guy. So I mean, so I mean, I reached in questions of, we've been hearing about you. Please tell us more about you. Before even you go about the academic fear, I had already support and I had friendship and so forth. So things were so hard for me as well.
That's quite nice. Then, which combination did you do?
Well, history, economics, literature, and divinity. That was held. Because we were doing it for 25, so history, economics, literature, and divinity.
So what motivated the combination?
For that combination, remember that was a level, so it wasn't my choice. But I think what motivated those that chose for me, which of course they did what was right because I appreciated it later, though in the beginning I thought it was so hard. I think what motivated those people choosing for me was probably what I had done in my senior 4. But also maybe probably what my personal potential was according to your evidence. So you never know. So, but I also liked it because it fell really in my line of appreciation because I did literature, which I really loved it, and I'm like, okay, well, this is very good for an artist. It's good to have some literature in you. And of course, the English bit of it there. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do English anymore, but let me do it in terms of literature here. So just to improve and support, and because I was and I am a very good fan of English. Just very good fan. Just love English. So when I learned of literature, I'm like, wow, someone tells me, well, you're gonna do literature here, and this literature is gonna boost up your English. I'm like, well, let's go ahead. Let's take it on. So I loved it. So yeah.
Then especially before we go for break, what was your dream? What did you want to become?
Of course, well, my dream has always been, and it was, I don't know whether it's still, someone else knows, journalism. Becoming a presenter, just a radio presenter, a TV presenter. So that journalist was like, well, oh my God, could I ever be one? Yes, but it's unfortunately that I just couldn't do it at my A level. Why? I mean, I just couldn't choose it at my A level because our courses, because I did very well that I had to go on government, but even before that, our choices, the blind people, our choices are quite limited at university. So journalism wasn't part of it. And when we filling in this job forms and so forth, so the journalism wasn't part of it. So the teacher told me, no, you know what, you can do it because it's not part of what you're supposed to choose. So I had to choose exactly what was part of what we're supposed to choose. So meaning that even had I, still I wouldn't get it because it wasn't being sponsored by government. Yes, so but nevertheless, I'm happy that I can always do journalism like I'm doing it right now even. Yes.
Then apparently you are going to go for a short break, but when you come back, Lisa is going to tell us more challenges that people with special needs face, people like him face. How easy was it for him to achieve the profession that he has now, and how is it easy? How was it easy for him to be an artist? Apparently, I've heard 2 songs of his, and he's going to give us an a cappella. So just wait, stay on this page. Remember, we stream live on Facebook and also on YouTube at the same time. And we are with Issa Kajiri, aka Jan Lion, the music consultant. Thank you so much. We are coming back shortly. Coming soon on social medias, it's S Class.
So what's the level? Like a bottle of chibuku? like a bucket.
To my nature, I criticize on social media. Yeah, I think I'm good at that when it comes to social media. That's why I really like spending most of my time in social media.
buli lwenywa ku njaga eyo naye mba sirina ssente ntulaali n'endowooza.
Coming soon on social medias, it's S Class. Welcome back from that short break. Remember, you're watching S Class, and remember we stream live on Facebook and also on YouTube. If you need our Facebook handle, YouTube handle, it's S Class 256. S, then you put class, then you add 256. Then also still on your Instagram, still put S Class 256, and also our hashtag is S Class 256. Then we are live on also here at Chennai Uganda French Hospital. We have a teenage center which runs every Monday up to Friday, and we give you friendly services. That's Naguru Theta Network, where young people come and get medication and talk with counselors and also professional doctors. And we want to send our thanks to everyone who comes for medication and everyone who is supporting this center and Naguru Teenage Center. Thank you for the great work that you are supporting us with medicine, and also the directors and administration of the Chennai Uganda French Hospital for the support. Then on S Class, we are still running a story discussing some of the issues or challenges facing people with special needs. And today on our seat we have somebody I told you who needs no introduction, who has been running on all over social media, on TV stations, radio stations, and that is Kadili Isa, the musician, aka Jan Lion. So now we are going to discuss more of his musical journey. Before we go to musical journey, I want him first of all tell us, use 5 minutes and tell us some of the challenges that people with special needs face in Uganda today. So Isa, what are some of the challenges that people with special needs face today?
Well, the challenges that we face today are sometimes not different from what we faced yesterday and tomorrow if something is not done. Yes, so one of the biggest challenges that we face is our own disabilities. The disability that one has, it's already the first challenge, because a blind person, my challenge of being blind is not the same that my colleague who's deaf. The challenge they'll be having is also different from someone who is lame. So because someone who's lame will have a direct challenge of movement depending on their levels of lameness, and someone who's blind will also be having the challenge of seeing, depending on their levels of sight. But also he or she deaf will also be having a challenge of listening or hearing. So you realize that makes a very first challenge in life. But also the second challenge is maneuvering or managing out life generally. So managing out life, now that one gets all that across the levels of disabilities and the types. So how we manage life becomes very very challenging, because you realize that you need an extra sense to manage life. If you're blind, you need an extra sense to survive, like Sam who is sighted, because if in terms of movement you find that yes, for you can just move as the way you want and where you want at any time, but then which may not be the same with me who doesn't see. I therefore need to seek very humble and very, very serious support, either by an individual or by my own research on where I'm going. So that makes the survival or the maneuvering of life becoming a very hard challenge. But also the third challenge could be our society's acceptance of the disability levels and types. Society has failed to understand that disability is not inability. Society still thinks that disability is inability. What I mean is society is me and you. It's you and them and her and the other one that make up society. Now, if you fail to understand that even if Isa is blind, but is our neighbor, therefore he can also do ABC that we are doing. He can do Bulungi Bwansi with us, and you say, no, let him be there. I mean, that's wrong. You're just not understanding that Isa is blind, but he's able. I mean, you only need to share, just tell him that, no, please carry this, let's pass here. That's okay. You're not leaving him behind. You understand? So that's what I'm simply saying, that society has still, society is still lagging behind in trying to understand that disability is not inability. So that's a very big challenge to us, because if society fails to understand, then that means we will be left behind and we won't be training and we won't be trained. So then the fourth challenge is, of course, in school, school or education at large. I realize that my education is quite the same like yours, but the difference is in very many things. When it comes to schools, schools are very far, schools are very few, schools are not being thought about by, well-wishers, don't want to come up and support these schools. So you realize that it becomes so hard even for those schools to run, because they are running a very expensive type of education. The scholastic materials are very expensive, you understand? So the distance also matters, but also the scholastic material is very expensive, and of course very few schools we have. So you realize that some of us have not even known that schools are there. There are colleagues out there that don't know that even schools for blind people exist, even parents, and they still have their blind people in houses. So, and maybe the last would be that government's policies and plans and laws that it brings about sometimes leave out people with disabilities uncatered for, and not only government, but even the NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Yes, because when planning, sometimes you find that when they're planning, they forget people with disabilities. You find a hospital, or a hospital could be having a blind person, but in their plan, they may not even mind that, this person is blind, we have it. They could be having a lame person, but when they're constructing, they may not mind about that. So people constructing houses, buildings, the environmental topography becomes so cumbersome for people with disabilities to access. So sometimes it makes their lives hard, and, very, very confined. And so there.
So Isa, you didn't tell us about your time at campus. Just use 2 minutes and tell us about.
Well, my life at campus was very, very.
Which course you did?
Yeah, it was very, very enjoyable. I want to say very, very enjoyable, but very, very tricky. Of course, yes, life at campus generally is very tricky, and the trick side I mean is, it's type of life that gives you freedom to express what you can and express yourself, but in the process of expressing yourself, it could also mean losing yourself. Yes. So with all the goods and the bad, the worst and the best, life at campus, well, it was challenging but very good, because I was a musician. I expressed my musical line, and that brought me friends, so which made my survival easier. But also I was a very intelligent man at campus, which made me a very, very powerful collector of colleagues. So everybody could want Isa's room, let me go Isa's room, and
Sure.
pick revisions, and for me I could gain from that. I was kind of like, hey Isa, can you help me explain something? Like, what's that? I explained to them, and the more I explained them, the more I master I get. So for me, I just enjoy, because I don't get tired. I'm like, I don't get tired. Why? Because I enjoy when you come around me. If Sam comes and wants me to explain to him CBT, again Terry also comes in the next hour, CBT. I'm like, okay, well, it's fine, let me do it, because I know I'm mastering it. And when paper comes, because for me I wasn't studying for exams. People have studied for exams, by the way. For me, I was studying for life, to master issues, to know what I was talking about, because I loved the psychology. I was studying to go and utilize it, not just for exams. Yes, that's what I liked. So life wasn't so hard for me. Yes, though of course campus life becomes cool when you have some money. You just can't get madams if you don't have some money. But of course, yes, I didn't say I don't have madams at campus, but neither did I say I had them. Yes.
That's a unique one. Okay. So you said that we talked about money. So you said you had money at campus.
Of course, yes, it's a hard man at campus, because one would say, if you say you don't have money, you didn't have money at campus, how would you used to survive if the campus was good for money? So I had money because I was able to survive, so the little that I had was able to make me survive. Yes.
Okay. Then that's why I say tricky one. It's a tricky answer. Then Isa, now we are going to your musical career. You're an artist, you love music. when and why did you love music and all things?
Well, when and why did I love music and all things? So when, at the unknown age, I want to mean the time that I knew that I could sing, but I didn't know that I could be a musician. Yes, but I knew that I could sing, and I used to sing. So that was the unknown age, because I don't know at what time did I know that I could sing. You just find myself singing. So, but then of course, why did I become a musician? Of course, yes, I became a musician because I realized that, oh, I have a talent. Remember, I used to sing before I realized that I had a talent.
How do you know that you have a talent?
Of course, how do I know that I have a talent? I can only know. I don't know if that's what you viewing or seeing, you can know. But for me, I can only know, and that's how I knew that I had a talent when I found myself producing things that are like music out of me. That's to say, composing something that is musical. That's to say, thinking first of all for producing, recording a song, and looking for a producer, looking for studios, thinking around the line of my music being played. And that's all something done by someone talented. Because if you're not talented in that, you won't even think about a producer, you won't think about a studio. I mean, why should you even think about that? So you won't even have an imagination of even trying to compose something. So, but I had that, and that was enough to show that I think I had a talent as well, that I needed really to explore it as well.
And who is your favorite artist in Uganda?
Well, my favorite artist is only that person who is better than me. So if
So he's better than me.
yes, so if you're better than me in any way, and you're my fellow artist in the field of music, just know you're my favorite, because I'm always praying to be like you, even better than you.
Sure. And
And that's numberless, because you can't number, even you can't name them. Yes.
and who is which artist do you look at and you're like, I want to be like this artist?
Equally the answer, because I want to be like that best artist before me. Because if no, take an example, if Rema is better than me, then why don't I want to be like her?
Sure.
Yes. If John Black is better than me, why don't I want to be like John Black?
But Isa, we always say that I want to be like so and so. Like we have seen very many young artists who want to be like radio. We've seen very many artists who want to be like Weasel, like Rema. You get what I'm saying? So for you don't have any particular person like so there are those who come up and say, I want to be like Isa. I want to be like John Lyon.
So those ones who come up and want to be like John Lyon, that means John Lyon is better than them. Just like I said, I would want to be better than those that are better than me. So if anyone comes up and they say that they want to be like the other, that means the other was better than them.
So nobody is better than you.
Nobody is better than me if they are not yet before me. But if they are after me, then probably they could be better than me.
Okay, Isa. Then how did you get this vocal you have? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe what was your first song?
Well, my first song mentionable was Abadigize. But my first song unmentionable was Wagwan.
So which one are you going to sing for us?
Your choice.
Wagwan.
Not me sing
Because
Wagwan.
it sounds
No worries, we can do that as well. Wagwan, Wagwan, buza kuba rasta. Wagwan, mwena matira. Wagwan, ngamba bachiyaye. Wagwan, me love everybody bedebem. Wagwan, buza kuba rasta. Wagwan, mwena matira. Wagwan, ngamba bachiyaye. Wagwan, me love everybody bedebem. Me really just wanna stop the ball is interesting. Jeremy boy, you don't know me, I'm impressing. I don't jala boy, you know me, I'm impressing. Yen, won't for real. I mean, wo in the boys stand and get to Jeremy booty, Jeremy, then you went upon the bond yet. When I say naga make a coffee hour do. Naga make a coffee hour do. Gonna be ready, gonna be city, gonna make it the mask me. Yalata Babylon that think about a good daughter me yam from.
that is Wagwan. And the other one was Abadigize.
That was Abadigize.
Just give us one line from Abadigize.
Abadigize bamba ngamba mwabachakaze bimbabe njagala mdigidi bambabe njagala mchakale bimba something Abadigize bamba ngamba mwabachakaze bimbabe njagala mdigidi wa njagala mchakale nesam.
So Isa, do you write this music yourself? Actually, but before, do you write music?
I don't paper write music, but I brain write music. I just write my music in brains, then maybe when I record it down. But I don't paper write music.
So when you go in a studio, because now artists always have their phones, they have their lyrics, and there are those who just put pen on paper. Yours you just put it in
Yeah, definitely. I just reach studio when I've mastered my song, and even if you just wake me from sleep, I'm like, "What are you saying? You want me to rap you something?" I'm like, "Oh, well, it's kind of." So just start there, and then so that means I go to studio when ready. I have my music on fingertips, on the frontal lobes of my brains, you know.
So how do you generate your lyrics?
Now, of course, well, my generation of my lyrics is just based on if the how is dependent on what situations. Of course, yes, I based on what I'm writing on, what am I writing on, what situation am I looking at, and then of course I have to study that situation bigger and then expand on and narrow it down to a song. Yes, so a discussion of probably one day just narrow it in segments, minutes. Yes, so but also my lyrics, I don't need to go quick. I don't need to stress myself. Just be easy, just be calm. Today I'm like, well, these days I'll write this, and then just add on statement to statement, word to word, and I'm like, okay, well, join up and then train it up and see, well, does it match with the notes and so forth. I'm like, okay, well, I think that's fine.
And when you said you're putting your music together, the first song that you is Wagwan recorded? Like, is it out?
No, of course, yeah, Wagwan is recorded, yeah.
Recorded, and also Wadikiza is recorded.
Yeah.
But apparently, I'm seeing you have only 2 songs which are trending. Yeah, and Wagwan, I've never heard about Wagwan.
Yeah.
This was my first time to hear about Wagwan.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you've not heard Wagwan and this is the first time, because there's always a first time for everything. Yes, but for those songs that are trending, it's because it's their time, and that if someone missed the Wagwan in its time, don't mind. Just know that you now have what's trending, and what's trending is Emu. So please look for Emu and be part of Emu. Make sure you have someone you're telling to be Emu, and then you also be part of my Emu. Let's be one, me and you. Yes, that's what it's trending now.
What motivated you to write Emu?
First, what motivated me to write Emu was the fact that I looked at a general situation that me and you know. We need to always assure our lovers that we are one with them, and that's what they want to be assured always. So because they always ask you, please assure me, are you mine alone? Of course, yes,
you are brought in a line of love. Did I hear that?
Yeah.
Do you have a lover?
Yes, of course. Yes, I have a lover, because definitely you want to know that me being here, you definitely love me, because you wouldn't call me here.
Wow. So give us one line from Emu. Then I'll ask the second question, which comes from your music. What is but before you give us a line, what is your favorite line in Emu?
Well, unfortunately, my favorite line in Emu is what I can't sing now due to my coarse voice now.
Sure.
Yes, and my favorite line in Emu is the very, very intro verse, the beginning verse,
which says, try it.
Nze negomba nnyo nga ndi muto, entebe eddadi nkwatula, n'emmere mami gyaleeta, n'eriyodde eddadi lyanaaba. Nalowoozaako nti guba mululu, mbutaagaliza bwete obukodo, nga ne bw'ozirika samutakombya, akuboleza kyemu bentobya. Nango so tusazeewo tubeeremu emu yokka, emu yokka, emu yokka, emu.
If you have not heard about Emu, like the old song, please look for it. It's called Emu. It's a very nice song. It comes from Isa or Jan Lyon, the music consultant. So Isa, when you said about Emu, your best part is the intro. What motivated you to write Emu? When you said Emu, why did you have to talk about Mary Mami Jana and also, like, was it something that you went through?
No, definitely. As an artist, you can go through something in fiction, you can go through something, of course, in reality, in experience, or just in trying to think for others. Yes. So my thinking about that line is based on reality that exists. Me and you, or anybody who has been with their parents out there, you know that the preparation that your mother does for your father is that anyone could want. You know, it's your dad that, you know, gets the other good part of the meal, the other good part of the chicken, the other good part of the water. So as a child, you always want that. You don't want to be pampered in that way. But of course, you don't know that that's what she's supposed to do. You may think that maybe she's just doing it because that's what they collaborated with, the man, with the dad, but you just don't know that what they're supposed to do. So it's not until you grow up and then you can realize that, well, this is what she was supposed to do. So if you realize that that was what she was supposed to do, then definitely you also need to look for somebody to do that for you. Yes, because you want to remember, oh, mommy used to do this, so I need somebody to do that for me. Yeah, because you now know it wasn't for bad intentions that mommy was greedy. She didn't want to give you the good thing, but probably she was doing it because she was caring for somebody who now you also need to be cared for in the same way.
Okay. Then Issa, if you look at music now in Uganda, do you think people listening or watching you look for your music right now?
Well, do I think? Yes, definitely I think, because I don't want to say that the viewers of our program are those bad not to look for my music. I'm asking you, are you that bad? They say no. Yes.
So have you done any video for any of your songs?
I haven't done any video because I mean the video is in pipeline, and I want to think that the viewers of our program will be part of the video creation, and they can only be part of the video creation in their way they want to be. Yes, I don't want to choose for them how they want to be.
Okay.
Yes.
So
But just support Janla and just support me in whatever way you want is what I mean. Therefore, you get part of my video making.
okay. Then are you on any of social medias? Because I've already mentioned there, we have Facebook, we have YouTube. Like social media is all over everywhere and help pushes people, and even our show runs on social media. That is Facebook, YouTube, and also Twitter. Are you on any of the social media platforms? And what are your social media handles?
Yes, I am on any, and Facebook, that's Jan Lion, and of course on WhatsApp. I'm on WhatsApp and Facebook, Jan Lion. Of course, I am Twitter. That's still Jan Lion. So I'm there. In other words, you can search out here.
And you also but Issa, let us be realistic. You don't see on social media, is people who see. See, read, post, like, comment, everything. So why did you have to say your whole social media platforms?
Of course, I had to say that I am on some of the social media platforms because I knew that those on which I am are provisions for me to use them. So, because for purposes of Facebook, I can use it. Because of WhatsApp, I can use it. So that means I can only be part of that I can use. But also, nevertheless, my failure to use it, that doesn't mean that I can't have an avenue or another way of using it. Yes, because if I am lame and I can't hold my microphone, that doesn't mean I can't talk on that microphone which is being held by some. Yes.
Okay. Then do you have a manager?
I have a manager, and the manager I have is the viewer of our program. So if you are viewing, then you are my manager. How you're my manager? You can only manage me when you give me business.
Okay.
Yeah, so because if an individual calls you for their say for example celebration, and therefore they have to manage that, discuss the money with them. So but otherwise I'm only simply saying that if you want to manage me in personal terms, don't fear, just come around and discuss.
Okay. Then if people want to reach out to you, which avenues can they reach out to? Jan Laya.
Of course,
Issa the music consultant.
No, of course, definitely. Issa has never been a music consultant. It's only Jan Laya, the music consultant. Issa has always been a psychologist. So if you want to reach him, of course, yes, we don't want to forget that Uganda is not yet that very developed country that everybody has a smartphone and so forth. So if you just have your Kamapesa, Just find me on 0701 46 1988. I meant 0701 46 1988. So you could find me, and then we can discuss much more and then see how things go.
Yeah. For anyone, you can reach out Isa. We shall also put our Isa's number on our tab down there. You will easily see it. My producer is going to put it down there, because we're going to see it. Then Isa.
Yeah.
Since we are summarizing, I would like you to tell us about who has helped you to achieve all this. Some people have given you a hand to achieve all what you have achieved today.
Of course, what I've achieved today, and today is the Thursday. Sam has helped me achieve today. This is what I'm doing. So he's one of those that have helped me to achieve it, because I wouldn't be talking to you if it wasn't him. Of course, secondly, yes, any relative of mine out there listening, just know you've been part. So relatives have been part. The grandies, the brothers, the sisters, just mention them and all. Of course, colleagues out there, colleagues in school, very, very supportive, because they used to encourage me. They used to say, man, come and cheer up and say, man, you understand? And you're like, wow, if I've done it, then next time will be better. So you need just to fear to disappoint them. So you hard work, and you do work hardly. And of course, yes, not forgetting the Almighty God has been very powerful.
That's very And if you look at your friends that you deal with, that those people have supported you, sometimes we always forget them. Sometimes it's not good for get people on our back. Then Isa, I'm going to hand over this microphone to you and give us some freestyle about our show S Class. Yeah. Since you are an artist, me I'm not an artist. I love listening to music and I love watching music. So I'm going to hand over this microphone to you. At least you could be a S Class.
Kati akalango tukakwati kyandibadde kibi lwokobuzi olugenda okusanga nti akati omuwuliza w'akalango kafetanga menera naye ddoboozi era kati sijja nakawuliriza
abawuliriza abali ku mulamwa abawuliriza abalungi
ate nga ne bali batali ku mulamwa tubangala
n'abatali ku mulamwa
kati bajja kugendera eddoboozi
buli omuntu
ate nga tubeetaaga.
So we just use 2 minutes, then we shall come and rewind or end the show.
Mpulira
Microphone ngikwasa oba ngikwata?
Microphone ginkwasa oba ngikwata.
That is it. What do you have?
Ekikopo kyange kireke kyakinzibako. Alright. John Line, the music consultant, disability is not inability. I mean, if I tell you about class. Tuli mu X class. Naye tetuli bayizi, tuli batabu. Tuli mu X class. It's a powerful area where you can get more information. Mr. Sam Terry, producer, babeera kunyu. John Lion Rembanzize nange mbasala kunyunyu. Ante birimu byonna beyegereza. Teri kitayegereza. Bw'oba oyagala kumanya kubikwatagana n'ebyobulamu mwattu tusange. Bw'oba oyagala kumanya kubikwatagana sexual reproduction era tusanga okitegedde. Yes, well, John Line, music consultant, disability not inability. X class nachi nalo. X class nachi nalo. X class nachi nalo. X class nachi nalo. We better than them fire than we. We better than them no better than we.
That is John Lion, the music consultant. Why do you call yourself the music consultant?
Yeah, because I'm here for your consultation, so you're consulting me, and you've consulted me about my music. You just couldn't consult anybody else apart from me. But also I'm a consultant because I go and inquire from other people.
Okay.
Yes, so other people inquire from me and I also inquire from them about my music. So that's why I came to be a consultant.
Okay. What would be your last word for our dear viewers?
What would be our, my last words for our dear viewers? I just want to apologize for the bad that I've done, the negative that I've done, especially that is being based on my voice. Yeah, I could do better than this, but don't worry, next time better. And of course, just maybe lastly, I just want to encourage you to keep following up. Kantu kafe mukagali man mutuberere mu kitegeera, so mulina okubanga mukagoberera Saamu muvimbise mutuvimbise botatuvimbisa tujja kuvimbisa kubanga kuvimbisiza buvimbisa abantu bobo okolera ebyo batali babo.
So that has been is. I remember today we have been discussing some of the challenges that people with special needs face, and also remember S Class is a platform where we give everyone space to discuss what he or she wants to discuss, as long as it's productive, and also get to know who Jan Lion is, what are some of the challenges that people face, then how did he manage to become a psychiatrist who he is now, and how did he manage to become an artist, how is he doing his things. So that has been our Jan Lion. Remember, S Class runs every single Friday, and this S Class is going to be running Friday live. If you need Jan Lion, his number is just down there. You can easily reach out to him for business purposes. Then if you need any consultation when it comes to psychiatry, you want to talk with your daughter or your son, he's here. He's a very good person. You can easily approach him, you can give him a call, and you will link up and discuss with him. S Class 256, that's our hashtag. You can reach out, you can get us on Facebook, S Class 56, and also YouTube, S Class 256. See you till next time. Thank you so much.